when you think about energy, how do you shift the paradigm a bit, right? From I have resource, I export, I grow my economy. Even today, in some of the countries, they even have subsidies, right? For Malaysia have a subsidy for use of oil, right? Indonesia has subsidy for use of coal, and Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan are very big exporters of oil. So, how do you sort of convince those regions to move, right? To accelerate the shift to renewable energy, while they are also, their livelihood is tied with fossil fuel?
I think there are several answers to that. One is that already solar is cheaper than fossil fuel in many contexts. Grid parity used to be the expression, but it's better than grid parity.
Yeah.
Solar power is just less expensive than a coal-fired thermal power plant. Add in all the pollutants and all of the trouble that comes from coal, and you have a very strong case in countries that traditionally relied on coal-fired power plants to say, we don't want that anymore. We want to go green because it's cheaper, it's better. So this is one part of the answer. Another part of the answer is that there is a social cost to carbon that should be reflected in the incentives of governments and utility companies to go green. In other words, it could be the case that on a purely market basis, it's close whether to do fossil fuel power generation or solar power generation. But if you add in the harm that comes from the carbon dioxide, the so-called social cost of carbon, then it's absolutely a clear choice. But that requires the government to be actively saying, look, we're moving to this transition, and we do not accept new major installations of fossil fuel. Now, a third point is the downstream uses of energy, not just power, are better with green. So it's not only grid parity, say at a power plant. Think of an electric vehicle versus an internal combustion engine vehicle now. The electric vehicle is a smarter, better drive. Yeah. People are moving towards it because they like it.
Drive. Yeah.
It's a lot more fun to drive. It integrates AI systems far more effectively than an internal combustion engine. It's got a lot of precision on many different dimensions. So people want electric vehicles. China is already the world leader in this industry, because in Europe and the United States, some of the old car producers said, well, no one's going to move to from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles, but this is also wrong. It's a better drive and it's cheaper for the better mobility. And so any visitor coming to China sees the green plates all over the place. We know that the market has already swung, and that's also going to happen worldwide. Then a final component is financing. Generally, with fossil fuel investments, they look better if interest rates are high than if interest rates are low, because the green technologies are capital intensive. You pay up front. Then you don't buy the sunshine. The sunshine comes to you for free. But you buy the solar module. You buy the solar power up front. So you need financing for that. And I just attended a UN conference called the Fourth Financing for Development Conference in Spain, which was a global event that takes place once every decade. And the message, very clear from that, is that there are ways to lower the borrowing costs for developing countries and that they should be expanded. I'm going to be working on that myself in the coming months. I think we can make a lot of these large-scale solar programs much more affordable. So I see them as just better. They're better quality, they're lower cost, they beat even grid parity. they give cleaner air, they give better downstream uses. They're going to be useful or even needed, let's say, for the part of the economy that's going to be hydrogen-based because we're going to hydrogen-based shipping. This is clear. Every country's got ports, or most countries have ports that are going to need to have hydrogen locally. Well, that's going to be produced in green hydrogen in most cases, or should be. So my feeling is that it is not only a good idea from a climate point of view, but a very practical idea from a political, public policy, financial, as well as climate point of view, to greatly expand the rate of capacity increase in solar energy and all of the downstream applications. I should mention one other point. The Central Asian countries that I visited, they know that they have a lot of desert. They want to reclaim the desert also. And now there are all sorts of interesting ways to combine solar energy with agriculture. You put the solar panels up above, you provide shade for crops, you get water management and water pumps through the solar. You can reclaim part of the desert as well.
It's already happening in China.
In the Kabuchi project with the Elion company and in other places. So when I met in China to talk about the desert restoration, when I was in Central Asia talking about this, when I was in South America in the Atacama Desert, when I was in the Sahelian countries in Africa, all of these countries now see themselves rightly as potential solar superpowers. We are desert. We have sunshine everywhere.
That's wonderful.
We can be exporting. We can be making hydrogen. We can be basing industry on the basis of our solar in places that were bereft of fossil fuels, but they have plenty of sunshine throughout the year, and they see a real opportunity here. So I'm actually very optimistic, but the pieces need to be put together. The policy pieces, the incentive pieces, the financing pieces, the technology pathways, but then I think the package is going to be hugely attractive.